Hello and welcome to the Principles of Programming series as we go into Chapter 2 labs, starting with Java. Uh, so before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you want to add feedback. If you're unable to do that, just go ahead and make yourself a quick YouTube account. It's free and it takes less than a minute. Alright, so we're going to do some Java labs. So we'll go straight into it. So the first one is going to be Lab 2-1, Java, declaring and initializing Java variables. So let's go ahead and kick into it. All right, first task, as we see, well, let's look at our code. We have our comment here, declare and initialize your variables here. So we'll do that. So let's see what the first task they want us to do. Remember, we want to do these tasks all in order. The first task is declare an integer variable named newAge. So let's try the old right here on this line underneath the comment. Let's go tab over. So my cursor is right underneath the first slash, and we're going to declare a variable, and it's going to be called newAge. So it's going to be int space newAge. And then we'll use a semicolon since we're using Java. And it equals newAge. And I'll go ahead and camel case that, which means capital A. So once we've done task one, let's go ahead and now we're not going to run it until to the end, so we can go ahead to task two, declare initialize an integer variable named current age. So let's do current age. And what kind of variable is it? It's an integer, so that's what the int stands for. So this also is an integer, so we'll use int. And the variable is current age. No space, remember we're going to use camel case. And then what do we need to do with that one? Your current age, so a current age, let's just use 25. So it was actually 25 one day. And then once we do that, let's go ahead and use our semicolon. So what we did in task two, declare an integer and initialize an integer variable named current age. So integer, the variable is called current age. There's our camel case. And with our current age, you can use any age. I use 25. Next, we're going to declare and initialize an integer variable named current age. So another one, current age. So we're going to do another one. Sounds weird. Oh, current year, sorry. That's why it sounded weird. But we're going to do that. Let's go down to the next line and do integer. It's an integer. And current year. Please bear with me. I got to type around my microphone. So there's my process variable, the value of the current year. So the value of the current year, let's go equals 2024. And use 4 digits for the year. So yeah, we use 2024 instead of 24. All right, so let's hit semicolon. Next, execute the program. So let's go ahead and execute it. I'm going to use this one here. First, let me look at my code. Int space newAge semicolon. Next line, int space current age space equals space 25 semicolon, and then int space current year space equals space 2024 semicolon. All right. So newAge current years, that is already in there. So let's see. Let's see if we get that ran right. Let's hit enter. Not so much as at the bottom, but we're still running it. Let's see if we get. So it's the first time I use Java on here, so it's going pretty slow, but I gotta. There we go. There's my output. And after a while, it gave me my current age is 25. I will be 51 in 2050. All right. So based on what you're at, you can check the years by 2050 minus 25 or 24. 51. So that is correct. 26, that is, years. All right. So, sorry, if you check by 2050 minus 2024, that's 26. So if you do 51 minus that 26, you'll get 25. Right? So that's what we got. And what do? We want to calculate our grade. So let's do that. Make sure we got everything correctly. While we're waiting, show code actions right there. That's what that bulb stands for. Let it calculate out. All right, our grade is calculated, and we do have 100%, and all of our tasks are turned green. One thing to note before we go on to the next one is that integer, once you declare your integers, they can be in any order as long as they're declared correctly. So if you put enter current age equals 25 on top, or whatever that one is, on new age and run it, you should get the same thing as long as you have code here, as we'll get to in a later lesson. All right? So let's go on to our next topic, which is going to be, we're going to be declaring and initializing Java constants. So let's go to it. Okay. So task one, let's look at our code first. We have where we left off, gave us some new comments to do, so let's go there. First task, declare a constant named year and initialize year with the value 2050. So I hit the tab to get underneath, lined up with this first comment. So let's go final integer, which is year. Let's all cap that. Space equals 2050 and semicolon. All right. So there, declare a constant named year. So we did that. Constant's always going to be final. Final space int space year. That's the name of the constant, which is an integer, and it equals 2050. And we close it with a semicolon. All right. So next, edit the statement new age equals my current age plus 2050 minus my current year. So it uses the constant named year. All right. So let's go here. We're going to edit this one right here to new age equals current age plus, instead of 2050, we're going to basically, instead of using this 2050, we're going to tell this 2050 that year and 2050 means the exact same thing, but we have to make sure that it's exactly the same, all caps. And once we do that, everything else looks like it's in order, so let's do there. So the R is the only thing capital or blue, Y-E-A-R, and everything looks the same. Here goes year. All right, that's funny. All right, so next task, edit the statement system.outPrintLine with I will be space. Make sure you have that space. Let's go straight to it. Edit the system.outPrintLine. I will be space, and then your quotations plus new age plus space quotations, and then we have a space after plus new age plus. Okay, here we go. So now quotations in 2050 period. So it uses the constant name year. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to change 2050 to year, and what else we do? So here we're going to do a space here, and then here we're going to do plus space, change that to year. So the spacings are for the output to make sense when a reader reads it. So if you don't, it's going to be jumbled together in one word or have too many spaces. But we want to make it so we have year. We don't need this period after year. Actually, we do, because we're going to do quotations. All right, and it should be, nope, it should be like that. Quotations, period. So we're not going to say that. All right. All right, so let's see what we got. And the statement system printout line, I will be age. So it uses the constant name year. So change that 2050 to year, and I will be space plus new age. Make sure you have the spaces here and a space before the quotation, and then a space before n and a space after n, then the quotation, then a space and then plus, then a space and then year, then a space and then plus again, then another space and then quotations, dot quotations, then your close bracket and semicolon. All right, interested to see what we got here. So it should say here, let's run it. We'll use this one this time to run the code. And we're looking for my current age is 29, I will be 65 in 2050. And my current age is 25 since I used 25. I will be 61 in 2050. So everything worked out fine. Let's calculate to make sure. And it's easy to mess this up because of all the spaces. But later you'll see why that's important. You see how the output is done exactly correct. No period after 29, no period after 25. And I will be 61 in 2050. Everything is one space, and it's a period at the end. Right? That's why these quotations and the spaces like that, when the pluses are there, they're outside the quotation. So when you're adding new age, you're adding what your new age is. So there's our 100%, and we did get that all correct. And we also got all green check marks. So that's it for that lesson. We'll go on to the next Java, the next Java lab. All right, on to lab 2-3, which is arithmetic and assignment operators in Java. The same old thing. Just remember, if something doesn't execute right for you, go back and check closely spelling, the syntax, the spacing, whether you use the right punctuation, and also just take a closer look at the screen. Right? By doing this over and over again, you'll get better at coding. Right now, you might not understand each step, but that'll come in time as well. All right, so let's go into it. All right, let's take a quick look at our code. Here's where we're going to start our lines. Let's go ahead and go there and put the cursor right there this time. So the first task is going to be calculate the profit as the retail price minus the wholesale price. So let's go ahead and call it profit space equals space retail price. Remember the camel case for the second word. And it's going to be retail price space minus space wholesale price. Camel's case and camel case. All right. Make sure we got that right. So calculate the profit at the retail price minus the wholesale price. So profit equals retail price minus the wholesale price. And you see we camel spaced that and spelled it correctly. So next task, calculate the sales price, call it sales price, as 25% deducted from the retail. So let's go boom. And so we're going to have sales price, or sale price. Trying to put sales up there. Nope, did it correctly. So it's going to be sale price equals retail price times 0.75. Sale price space equals space retail price times 0.75, and let's go ahead and semicolon that. Sale price equals retail price times 0.75, and that one looks good and it is complete. And now for the next line, we got next task, calculate the sale profit which is sell profit, as the sell price minus the wholesale price. So when they have it in parentheses, they want you to use the sell profit just like that. So you can basically copy and paste that if you want it as your first one if you don't want to type like so. All right, sell profit equals sell price minus wholesale price. All right. We see we did our camel casing. Everything looks good. So now what we're looking at is based on the rest of the code, item name down here is going to print out our output. So we're looking for item name, TV stand, retail price, and all that. But we're going to keep the basic right here, focus on what we just typed in, not this. We'll get to this when we start declaring different type of variables and also manipulate the output. All right, so let's go ahead and run that. Let's use this one this time. Doesn't matter which one we use. So we're running the code, seeing what we got. And like I said, if it runs and you don't get the desired output, go in and look at it closer. Check your spelling, check your syntax, take a closer look at it. Did I not space somewhere? It looked like right there I did something wrong. Build failed. Do you want to continue? Continue. That's just part of the code. But I think I see one thing that's wrong. So let me check that out and do the correct. All right, instead of keeping you on why I corrected those, I'll show you what I corrected. Wholesale is one word, and I camel cased it, so that gave me one error. So I made it wholesale, and then price was camel cased. So S should have been little lowercase s, not capital S. I corrected that in both places. Get out of the way. Here and here. And then here also, after my multiplication, after my asterisk, I didn't leave a space before 0.75. So once I've done that, I've ran the code and I've got my desired code. All right, so take a closer look if you didn't get that. Sell price space equals retail price space asterisk space dot 0.75 semicolon. And same thing, wholesale is one word, so don't camel case the S in sell, just the P. All right, and that's it for Lab 2.3 and for Java. We're going to go on to the next one, and we'll be talking about just Java 2.4 or Lab 2.4, which is understanding sequential statements in Java. So let's get into it. All right, here's what we're working with, starting from the very top. A lot of integers, or a lot of doubles declared. So double is basically a decimal point, a whole number with decimal point on it, or a number with decimal point on it, or the ability to have more than 1 point or one digit after the decimal. So that's what a double is. So all these are doubles because you're multiplying numbers smaller than 1, so you're going to get point some number. All right, let's dig into it, see what our first task is. Calculate state withholding tax at 6.5% and calculate federal withholding tax at 28.0%. So note 6.5% is 0.065, so you're going to convert that percentage into a decimal, of course, and when you're performing calculations. All right, so let's go calculate state tax here. Put my cursor over there, so I got to use a tab to get it under the system out print. All right, so here, let's go, actually, do we want that to be on? Let's go make a line right here instead. All right, so let's go sales tax or state tax. Camel case it, of course, equals salary space asterisk space 0.065. All right, so we calculate our state tax, state withholding, that is, and it's which is 0.065. Everything looks good there. Let's go ahead and do our semicolon. That's what I was waiting for. And we did that, and that cleared up. So now we got state output. Let's delete this line that we made, and let's make one above that output. So now we want federal tax at 28%. So we'll go with federal tax space equals space salary times 0.28. Right, so 0.28 is 28%, and boom. So I have to make it bank. Not doing bad, I should say. Okay, why doesn't we have system print out? So calculate dependent deduction. So we're going to dependent deduction at 2.5% of the employee's salary for each dependent. So it's task 2. Let's calculate that. And I'll leave a space there. Alright, we'll leave it. So let's go right here. So we go straight to the line. Dependent deduction, and we'll call that dependent. There, so I can use the autocomplete option. Salary. Start using that more. Times 0.025 times non-dependents. And does that account? Yep, it's up there. So once it's there, it can relate to it. So all it's doing is, these were already typed in. We didn't have to type these, but since they're there, we can use those autofill. Otherwise, they wouldn't be available until we declare them. So we declared them, and boom, got it. So we did that. Calculate the 2.5% times number of dependents. Then calculate total withholding. Total withholding is the total state withholding combined with the total federal withholding. So let's make sure we get that right. Pull it down a little bit more, and total withholding, let's do that. Total withholding, TO, total withholding, and equals salary that equals state tax. Sorry about that. State tax, so we're going to state tax plus federal tax. Federal tax plus dependent deduction. So adding all these on there just to subtract them. Dependent deduction. So total withholding equals state tax plus federal tax plus dependent deduction. Alright, so that's added up. That's your total withholding. And then calculate take-home pay. Now we get to do like this. Enter, and then delete that line before that. That'll put me right there at my mark where I want to be. Alright, so let's get that done. Calculate take-home pay as salary minus total withholdings plus deduction. So let's go take-home, T-A-K, take-home pay equals salary minus total withholdings. And let's go ahead and put our, alright, since we did, now one thing that'll mess you up, if the variables that you declare, if they're not the same as you try to point to them down here and reference them, you're going to get errors. I think that we're good. So let's go ahead and try to run this baby and see what we get. So I can stop that pop-up. Alright, so looking for this output, state tax should be $81.25. Federal tax should be $350. Dependent should be $62.5. Salary should be $1,250. So your take-home pay should be $881.25. All right, and we got boom, $81.25. So now this one, because I declared it a double and went all the way down to point, or both of these, they were declared as doubles. So that's still good. 62.5 total withholding. They didn't give us a total withholding. Salary $1,250, or didn't do total withholding up here. Take home pay $756. Mine's a little off. Let me see, because I didn't mess with none of these numbers. Let's see what kind of grade you would get if you did that and it's off. If not, we'll troubleshoot it, because all we had to do is calculate, unless I did one of the decimals wrong. But we'll soon see when this is done, calculate the grade, and we'll correct it. All right, so we did not get 100%. We got 64.71%. We'll go back to task 3, which is total withholding is total state withholding combined with the total federal withholding. So let's go ahead and try to solve these. And like I said, I'll solve them, and then I'll come back and tell you what I changed. All right, I messed around with that one. I tried a few things. Tried to change the number of dependents up here, but that wasn't correct. Got rid of the line that I had it print out without the total withholding, but still didn't get credit for that. So right now, unless I figure it out when I get done with all the videos and go back to find out any glitches or whatever, until then, if you solve and you get 61, yeah, if you're able to get 64.71, I know to convert that to 100 points for you, or 100% for this assignment. But if you do figure it out without my help, you'll get some bonus points. But for now, as long as you're able to do the first two, I'll look into it, and if I do, I'll add that as a caveat. All right, so like I said, that's all for the Java 2.4 and the Java Chapter 2 labs. If you run into any other issues, I'll make sure that they're on the video and that you're aware of them. So make sure you're looking at them, and also make sure you like, comment, and leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. All right, we'll see you on the next video, which looks like it'll be C++. Take care. Have a wonderful day.